Welcome to another award-winning episode of Extra Butter. Today on episode 103, Crimes of the Grindelwald, Gryffindor. Who cares? It's the new Harry Potter movie, also known as Fantastic Beasts. Also, from the makers of Daddy's Home 1 and 2 comes a movie that's a lot like Daddy's Home, including your Mark Wahlberg. Only this one, extra special. It makes the world a better place thanks to its instant family. We'll talk about that. Also, speaking of taking it to the next level, Widows, one of the best movies ever made. Viola Davis, Liam Neeson, who's got a special set of skills to make a great movie. He'll tell you why. All of that and more on this edition of Extra Butter. James, can I pay for this later? Yes. I got no time to pay for popcorn. We got a show to do. This is where we get together and we talk about movies pretty much the way you talk about movies. Who? It's me and these people right now. Hi.
How's it going?
Finally. Good to see you. For those who don't know, these are two of my friends that I get together with to talk about movies. She is a world-famous YouTuber / makeup consultant.
Kelly Savannah D.
No, it's you, Maria Gloria.
Obviously, look at this eyeshadow.
I just called you like a makeup consultant, like you're selling Amway or something.
Now I am.
Avon.
I know. You should get into that.
Have you tried Mary
Kay?
Kay? I will one day. Be on the lookout.
She is a travel blogger. You know her as Kelly Savannah Deaton, the aforementioned.
I don't have anything else to say. You can just find me at Kelly Savannah Deaton. You said my whole spiel. Thank you.
All right, I'm here. I'm the complaints department right there at TV Marcus Allen. All right, we got to open up with The Grinch. It kicked butt this weekend.
It did.
Again. My daughter loved it.
My
daughter loved it, but I mean, it was all right for the parents. Like you do it for the kids, right?
Yes, this is definitely a movie, a very specific, I would say like younger than 4, they're gonna be running up and down the aisle, so like maybe 4 to 6-year-olds.
Yeah, it really does get them in the Christmas spirit, because right after my daughter was like, let's go get the tree, let's go get ornaments, let's start wrapping presents. So for that reason, I enjoyed it. But for that reason, only.
Exactly. Let's get a puppy. Let's get a sled.
Yeah.
Unlike the Trolls, I did not abduct a child in New York City. There really was my nephew that sat down with Benedict Cumberbatch, who is the Grinch. They bonded over swimming.
Oh.
What's your favorite activity?
My favorite, well, that's one of my favorite activities. I like sliding down a hill of snow. I think that's great fun. I like snowboarding down a hill of snow. That's even more fun. And yeah, I like swimming, sometimes in cold water. 3 degrees is probably the coldest I've swum in. That's pretty cold. Yeah, those things.
I play swim lessons.
Sorry?
I play swim lessons.
Do you do swimming lessons? Good for you. And what can you do? Can you do a little bit of that? A little bit of breaststroke? Yeah, you can do that. Can you do that one, the front crawl?
Yeah.
Very good.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, look how cute he is. He did such a great job. He should take your job, actually.
Benedict, like you saw, said he's going to.
So did a lot of other movie critics take their kids naturally? I'd assume they would, right?
Yeah, a few, and one did an exceptionally awesome job. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him. He's written for Rolling Stone magazine, LA Times, and everywhere in between. Sean Edwards, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Where are you going on, Sean?
I'm literally doing what most Americans do on a daily basis. I'm in an Uber in New York headed to the airport, man. Working, grinding, hustling.
All right, when you're not making movies, you're talking about movies. The last time we were together, it was in New York City. We both saw The Grinch through a child's eyes. Give us your review and your other half's review.
Well, my review is personally, I love seeing The Grinch animated. It should always be done that way because of Dr. Seuss's amazing creativity and artwork and the way those stories are told. I hated the live action versions. I thought Jim Carrey was awful.
How dare you!
I love seeing this story told and animated.
What did your daughter think of it?
She loved it. She thought it was fun. I mean, it got her in the mood for the holidays, and that's what the holidays are all about. Kids. Kids love Christmas.
Yeah.
So it put her in the mood, and it made her make her Christmas list even longer.
Speaking of which, his daughter is trending right now because of her interview with Benedict Cumberbatch. Take a look at this.
What's your favorite part of the movie?
My favorite part of the movie is when you see a flashback of the Grinch doing emotional eating on his own, tucking his cake. Yes, it makes you laugh. It makes me laugh every time I see it. And then the other part I love playing was when he goes sort of full psycho and decides to steal Christmas to get his revenge. That was fun to do.
She did a great job, man. She's fantastic. She had a bunch of fun. She got to go to New York. She got to meet Benedict Cumberbatch. She got to meet Cameron Seeley, who plays Lucy Liu. She had a fantastic time. Best part about it all, she got to share the experience with all of her classmates. So she's the queen dean of her 3rd grade class right now.
That's awesome. Sean Edwards, where can we find you?
Hey man, find me everywhere at S Edwards KC, man. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social platforms. You'll find me right there, man.
There you go. If we don't talk to you before, have a happy Thanksgiving. Sean Edwards, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir.
Have fun hustling.
All right, Sean Edwards and his lovely daughter. Thank you very much, Sean Edwards. Okay, so moving along, another kid movie coming out this weekend. Would you describe Crimes of the
Fantastic.
No, I got that wrong.
What is it again? Now you have me. Fantastic Beasts. No. Yeah, and the Crimes of Grindelwald. Dang it, I had it, Mark!
Nobody has it. Why don't they just call it the new Harry Potter movie?
Right? That's literally all I've been calling it, is that new Harry Potter movie, because I feel like it is what it is, you know what I mean?
It's in the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a major prequel. I'm not saying it's just for kids, because I grew up on Harry Potter, and I'm a fan of these movies 100%.
Anybody you know looking forward to it?
My cousin is, but then again, she is all about that Harry Potter world, and she is 25 years old, still kicking, still super excited.
Still kicking?
Yeah, because I just feel like these movies have done such a great job at building a fan base, and like they just don't want to let these movies go.
No.
I do love Eddie Redmayne for two reasons. One, he's great for this because this movie is about all things England, and they don't get more English than Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, come on.
He's very trolly.
Right, and we also mentioned that we wouldn't be into this movie at all had Harry Potter not laid the foundation.
Of course.
And there's so much Harry Potter in this movie. They bring a lot back.
Funny you should say that, because that's what he said.
For me, what I love about this film is Jo has taken the characters that she introduced us to in the first film and is really just showing how they are woven into the lore of the Potter series. You get to go back to Hogwarts, you get to meet Dumbledore, you get to meet these people that we've missed, and yet this is seeing them at a different stage in their lives. This is seeing them when the stakes were different but incredibly high.
I will tell you, my review of it kind of also echoes anything you're going to read about this movie. The movie is okay, but it's really just a bridge to the next movie that I hope is a better movie than this. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a couple surprises, but overall it's just a movie you go see if you're in that built-in fan base.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. It's visually stunning if you want to go for the visuals, but for the story, I mean, I gotta
Visually stunning, like Jude Law, Johnny Depp.
Maybe.
I see what you're saying.
Nice. All right, so coming up next, take a look around this auditorium. What do you see? For as far as the eye can see, families. Families are everywhere. Some of them may be instant. That's the subject of the new Mark Wahlberg movie from the makers of Daddy's Home 1 and 2 comes this, a movie that also makes the world a better place. We'll talk with him next. Hey, welcome back, and thanks for hanging out with us. This is Extra Butter. Keep the conversation going on our Facebook page, Extra Butter TV, and a big shout out. We just passed Veterans Day.
Oh, yes.
We really need to thank the men and women in service that are
Thank
watching
you.
on AFN worldwide in 168 million homes worldwide.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Sorry
you.
in advance that you have to deal with this lovely man, but...
Exactly. You're giving it all for your country. This is the best you get. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, they get us as well.
Yeah,
That's true.
Thank
All
you, though.
Glass half
His
full.
freedom.
All right, speaking of half full, this movie, Instant Family. Let me have a survey right now. How many of you liked Daddy's Home? How many people like Daddy's Home too? All right, so you get pretty much the same packaging, the same creator of that.
Yep,
You get
yep.
Mark Wahlberg again, only
Yep.
this movie has an extra layer that makes the world a better place. Maria, tell us what it's about.
It's about foster care. It's about a family who's
Yeah.
taking in a family, and they just become a family instantly. It's on the title, you guys.
Exactly.
true.
And it's inspired by who? Anybody?
The director.
Exactly.
Sean Anders really took in 3 children. He fostered 3 kids and then thought, this is a story that I need to tell. So
Yep.
it's kind of semi-autobiographical.
Yes.
Semi-auto.
Yeah.
Why can't I say that?
No,
Life inspires art.
Yeah,
Everybody-
exactly.
Life inspires art.
That's
Semi-
exactly what's going on.
Yes.
While we work on that, I talk to him.
And what's your advice to parents? Foster, adoptive, or otherwise?
Geez, my advice to parents is that it's hard for all of us. Nobody gets off light, but I think as much as you focus on the happiness and the joy, which is hard to. It's easy for me to say when I'm like, "What are you doing? Why did you? Where's all my stuff?" You
Right.
have all those moments like that. But I think you get so much joy out of your kids that it's all worth it.
Well, the movie works. And don't you guys agree that part of it's the casting? Like the kids in this movie, they don't seem like little bratty Nickelodeon kids or Disney kids.
No, I feel like movies like this rely so much on the children, and it depends on the casting of the right kids. Because it can go from being such a good movie to being such a cheesy, like bratty movie.
One bad apple.
Exactly. It works. They work so well.
There's a random actress in it that I know means nothing to either of you, but she's the star of one of my favorite comedies of all time. When I was a child, the very first R-rated comedy I went to was Airplane. Julie Hagerty was in that. Woo! She was amazing.
Hospital, what is it?
She was the flight attendant on this doomed flight. Did I bring that up in this interview?
No, you showed great restraint.
Yes, because they met me at the door and said, hey, don't bring it up. She doesn't want to talk about it. So we talked with the kids.
Yeah, isn't it funny that you could have a movie that's this funny, but at the end of it, it's made the world a better place?
Yes.
Yeah. Right?
It's really wonderful.
It's great.
It's really fun to be part of that.
And it's a great thing, too, because everybody loves watching movies. If you don't, then...
What's wrong with you, right?
Yeah. But everybody watches movies, so this is a great movie. Everybody's going to go, hopefully, watch it and just get the message.
Exactly. What was your favorite part of the movie?
Ketchup scene.
Tell me about that. For those who haven't seen the movie, tell me about ketchup scene.
So first I want potato chips, and then I get mad, and then Rose like hits her head on the thing.
Was it funny to make that part?
Yeah. And then the candle goes like towards Mark, and then the napkins start going on fire, and then they start doing ketchup.
She's so cute.
I know.
Her back must hurt because she carried that entire interview.
She did carry the interview. And I don't know if you saw me, but I thought, oh, finally someone wants to play. Someone's talking.
She did
it's
so
a lot
good.
better than your Tom Hardy one. Let's just put that out there.
I was just going to say.
Yes, the Tom Hardy one.
Speaking of which, I wish you would have been in the room with Mark Wahlberg. See, because Mark Wahlberg, I love the guy, wicked funny, wicked talented.
But not in interviews.
He's kind of jazz cool. I did sit down with Ian Rose, and because I knew it wasn't going to go a funny way, I tried to talk about the way this movie makes the world a better place, talk to them a little bit about parenting, and Mark did offer up some stuff. I would not want to be his niece or nephew. Take a look.
So you kind of have foster kids, at least during run of production, during this movie. Talk about these kids you work with. Like the old schoolers will say, never work with kids, never work with animals. The contrary, right?
They were great. Well, Mark had worked with Isabella before, and she's fantastic. And she immediately bonded with her siblings, with Gustavo and Julianna. And that was very important because they come as a sib set, is what they say in the film. But they were great, and their parents were great, and that's often the harder part is the entourage with children, and they're great.
Mark, what was the greatest surprise of being a parent? When you're going to become a parent, you think it's going to be one thing, but then there are surprises. What was the first big surprise?
It's just every day is different. Every day is different. The amount of, first of all, the amount of love that you feel. I think that was probably the biggest thing. Like I thought, okay, I had 15 nieces and nephews before I had a child, right?
Wow.
And I thought, wow, I really love my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Then I thought, okay, I got this little baby. And then I'm thinking, if my niece or my nephew did anything to harm my child, oh, I'd do some bad things to them. So I thought, wow, that really kind of showed me the difference between having your own child.
Yeah.
And, every day is something new. Everybody who's going through it for the first time is just experiencing, it's just all brand new and it's all different. So
Sure. And what advice would you bring to new parents?
To new parents? Oh, goodness. I don't know that it's...
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still learning every day. I don't think there's a point where you arrive and go, I've got a handle on this, ever.
Yeah.
Particularly when they're teenagers, or, oh my God, I can't even imagine.
See what I mean about being his nieces or nephews?
Yeah, but like I said, he keeps the honesty real.
He's raw, he's real. I mean, it's true though. It's true. As somebody that has a kid and nieces and nephews, it's true though.
Exactly.
Right?
I think this movie's going to be #1, and for no other reason, for heart. It's not the funniest movie these people have ever made, but it's got a certain kick to it that I like. All right, coming up in a moment, a movie that is a game changer. From the award-winning filmmakers behind 12 Years a Slave comes Widows, an all-star cast. Viola Davis, yes. Liam Neeson, special set of skills, check. They join us next. Welcome back. It is Extra Butter. Thanks for hanging out with us. Every now and then, I have been guilty of overhyping movies.
No, you?
Well, I love movies, so a lot of times I consider the audience, and I think, is it going to please them? And I drink the Kool-Aid from time to time. Google it. But with
We
this
all
movie,
do.
Widows, I am not overhyping this. Am I right?
You have been singing the praises of this movie since you've seen it. You actually haven't stopped. What was your, okay, so why would you tell people, what's the #1 reason? Why should they go see it?
Because if you see the trailer, you think you're going to see an action movie like we've seen Liam Neeson in before. You think
Yes.
it's going to be Taken 1, Taken 2, Taken 3, Taken 4, Taken 5, on down the line.
Yes.
But this movie, it takes it to the next level. And the award-winning filmmaking team, Steve McQueen, who brought you 12 Years a Slave, that piled on top of this action movie. With no offense to Ocean's 8, how that tried to bring the women together and have the camaraderie and have the action and the boldness. This movie achieves what that movie wanted to do.
Yeah, this movie gave me what I felt Ocean's 8 lacked.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
So there's some scenes in this, and I'm sorry I super geeked out, went deep in the woods because I was trying to talk filmmaker, and I know that's very pretentious, but I mean, when I get a chance to sit down with Steve McQueen, I got questions.
You have to.
Yes.
Like, I want to go deep in the woods on this. There are moments already I can tell you the award season is going to champion this movie for. Visually, there's a scene where an entire conversation takes place and the camera's hovering outside of the car. When do you make the choice to do that, and how'd you pull it off?
I think you make a choice quite early on because, again, it's about the sort of driving the narrative forward, driving the story forward. One doesn't want to slack and sort of, it's almost like a river. And it's sort of rushing, and you want it to be fast. It's a roller coaster ride. So the whole idea of having a conversation in the car, as well as seeing the landscape behind change, shift, and we've learned so much in that journey, for me was a no-brainer. So again, I imagine other people do it differently, but I love the idea of, also I'm a British guy, so filmmakers, we have to stretch a pound. So there's a cheapness to it, but also there's a dynamic to it.
Sure.
That guy is a genius, much of the same way people were talking about Scorsese when he first rose to fame.
Yeah.
People are talking about the shots that this guy gets, the way he composes scenes.
And it tells the movie in such a unique way. Like, this movie's different.
And he has a certain set of skills. You know who else has a certain set of skills?
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, oh, let me tell. Anyway, Liam Neeson has a certain set of skills.
Yeah, he does. He does. I sat down with the lovely Viola Davis and Liam Neeson to talk about this movie.
How nice is it for you that I think people who don't do the research, who just, stumble in, put their money down and go see the movie, they're going to think they're going to see a Liam Neeson movie of a different flavor. Yet, then we get to see you on so many layers we've never before.
Well, I hope so. I think just basically it's a wonderful story. And I think, it's great, personally speaking, for me to get to work with this extraordinary actress. And Steve McQueen, I had met once in London over a year ago. And he was one of those guys I just found myself pouring my life story out to him. I had just met him.
Right.
Yeah. And to me, that's a great sign, you know what I mean? And he's also a big cuddly teddy bear.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
as Viola says, he has a vision. And as actors, that's what you look for,
I love the relationship that you two, now albeit there's some, I don't want to plot spoil, there might be some secrets that you two have from each other, but we should all, at this age in life, strive to have the kind of lustful marriage that we open up with these two.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very hot for each other.
I love it.
I mean, it plays so well.
Just,
I say go see this movie,
Yeah.
Widows. You are going to love it and talk about it for years to come. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Hugh Jackman's movie. We talked about it a little bit last week, but now it's open wide everywhere. Why you should go see this. In these politically charged times, you need to see this Hugh Jackman movie. We'll tell you why next. Hey, welcome back. It is Extra Butter. Are you in the mood for a political thriller? Anybody?
Always.
I'm always in the mood for Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman is amazing in this movie. He plays Gary Hart. I know that means nothing to you, am I right?
No.
Not really. I hadn't heard about it.
Well, this is a big deal to me because it was the very first time I voted. This kind of scandal came down the pipe. This guy was going to be the Democratic candidate, but it didn't really happen because of a scandal. The movie is phenomenal. You got what's the guy's name?
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him somewhere before. But you also have J.K. Simmons. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I love J.K. Simmons.
I'll show you J.K. Simmons' power. We are farmers. See, that's what I'm talking about.
No, he is worth more than that.
I know, but he's telling me, he said, I could win the Academy Award. He said, I could find the cure for cancer. People are going to say, hey, it's the farmer's guy.
That's true.
I do love him in those commercials, but he is the director's muse. Did you know
Yes.
that? he is the muse for this director.
And it works. We talked.
You hope to be in movies that are going to have shelf life and that are going to spark conversation that go on forever. I think you found one?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was 1987, and we're still talking about it. And, you know, I think because it's a story about human frailty and human imperfection and humanity, you know, I think it's timeless.
If Hugh Jackman's got the sexy, he definitely does not have it in this movie. We sat down to talk about being president. Do you think he'd make a good president?
No. Yeah. His wife calls him Senator Jackman sometimes.
Oh.
So yes.
And, you know, I guess technically he could be a senator, but he's not eligible to be a president because he's not U.S. born.
Minor detail.
I still don't see him without the claws, guys.
Ooh.
I still don't.
We talked about that. Not so much. Take a look.
All right, welcome back to Meet the Press. Our candidate today is Hugh Jackman.
Yes, thank
Why
you.
should you be president? What would
you
you do?
You see, I just got nervous hearing that. Like, going on Meet the Press. Why should I be president?
Well, be nervous at the likes of me who's ever hosting Meet the Press.
I should not be president. No, as an actor, Hugh Jackman should not be president of any country. No, I'd be terrible at the job.
Why is that?
Because I want to please everyone. I want to make everybody happy.
When I was a little kid, you know, all moms go, someday you're going to be president. And I thought for a minute, maybe I want to be president. But I remember even as a little kid seeing what they look like when they go into the office and then what they look like coming out. I want nothing to do with that.
Mate, it's brutal. I mean, imagine in my job, you got a movie coming out on the Friday and every other studio runs negative campaigns against your movie and how terrible Hugh Jackman is an actor and bringing up every bad movie you've ever made. Do not go and spend your money this. I wouldn't be able to face it.
Go see Frontrunner?
Yes.
Go see Frontrunner?
Yes, go see it. Please go see it.
Yeah, it's way more entertaining than you would think a political movie is. And like they said, it's not a political movie.
It's not. It's about human flaws. Everyone loves flawed humans. We love Mark.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if there's anything with flaws, it's me and this show. Thanks for hanging out with us anyway. Keep the conversation going on Facebook. Our big Thanksgiving show coming up, so be sure and be tuned for episode 104.
It's such a good as a turkey.
Hey,
I hope you guys enjoy.
You want to see more? I know you do.
So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And turn on your notification button and click this thing right here to see more videos.
Stop doing that with your fingers.
It likes when I do this.
No,
Just
stop
like.
it. No.
Just click on it. Don't do all that. Don't do all that.
Just watch our videos.
Mike, make him stop. Turn him off.